Let's watch this. It's called The Hypocritical Evolution of IDubbbz. Let's do it.
Or, I mean, I'm more specifically, why are people calling you a simp?
Probably because he has a girlfriend that does the OF.
I mean,
well,
do you want me to? I'm pretty sure we've talked about it. Understand
I'm just
why. It's because my girlfriend is selling nudes on the internet.
What I've seen and what I've heard from other people is that she is almost like his handler. So when he's talking to people backstage,
oh my god,
at the Creator Clash, when he's telling my crew that I'm kicked out, that I can't come, all that stuff.
Oh, you can come.
He's kind of sitting back, like in the background, like approving of certain things that are said, or just sort of sitting there.
Hey, whatever, man. If he wants to have his girlfriend run his stuff, that is what it is, man. It's fine.
And Anissa is the one that's doing all the talking.
Hello, female girls and male boys. InternetAjay.
Wait, was that? Wait. Female girls and male boys. Wait, hold on. I don't care. I'm assuming he was just trying to be weird, but if I was going to woke bomb this, and I'm not going to because I don't really care, but that is technically transphobic. Female, right, refers to your biology, right? So a female girl is a biological woman, and male boys, biological men. Cis men and cis women. He's not including trans men or women. Wow. Ajay, you son of a bitch. We got you.
Jay here, the emperor of YouTube. Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about the commentary golden boy who once could do no wrong, IDubbbz. IDubbbz currently has nearly 8 million subscribers, but that number has been slowly decreasing over time. He initially gained prominence with his famous content cops, which were well-researched critical commentaries on controversial influencers. In fact, IDubbbz's video on Leafy was so influential it resulted in him taking a hiatus from the internet for several years. However, when he supported his girlfriend's OnlyFans venture, some of the YouTube community turned on him thinking he was a simp. IDubbbz then infuriated fans further when he revealed he thought his content cops were cringe.
Well, did you think he was a simp? Or like, I wonder what your perspective on that is, because I think that now that we've kind of gone on, I don't think that you're a simp for having a girl that does OnlyFans. I personally wouldn't let my girlfriend do it, or my wife, or my girlfriend. No, my wife. But you know, anyway.
He turned on him thinking he was a simp. IDubbbz then infuriated fans further when he revealed he thought his content cops were cringe.
Okay.
Finally, the former king of trolling.
I thought you were gonna show us a clip of that, because I saw him say that. He's like, I got older, it was cringe. Like, everything that you did in the past is going to look cringe based on, like, the context of it. Yeah, for sure. But okay.
Now seems unable to take a joke and instead gets mad. This is the hypocritical evolution of IDubbbz.
Alright, I'm ready for this.
This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global leader for men's grooming and hygiene.
Wow, I can't believe they gave it to Ajay, but not Paige Christie. Canceled Manscaped. Hashtag sexist. Just kidding.
50% off plus free international shipping. It's better to be prepared than look like a Persian rug on your next date. Now back to the date. Sorry, I mean video. IDubbbz's real name is
Are we dating, Ajay?
Ian Washburn, and he's currently 31 years old. He gained a massive audience after making content cops on Dennis Rhodey and Leafy is Here. Arguably, his most memorable one was about Tana Mongeau, which was uploaded on February 6, 2017. The drama all started
my friend
after Tana called Ian out on Twitter for saying that
it's called growing up. Yeah, you know what, the one thing that bothered me a little bit about, like, listening to the way IDubbbz talks about his past, he talks about it in a way where, like, if he could go back, he would change it. I know it sounds so weird. Like, in a way where he tries to distance himself in this, like, I understand moving on and being like, you know what, I used to make content that was, like, immature. But, like, it's, like, at the time, he was younger. That was, like, the community space. A lot of them were pretty well done. They were educational. He was probably, I mean, like, whatever. I don't think it was that big of a deal. I don't think it was so bad. I gotta listen to the alerts. Fuck. And the way that he talked, he's like, yeah, people after watching this video, they thought that I was like an incel and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's hard to communicate. You know, I do think that the level of it was him growing up. You know what I think it was? The biggest thing about the content cop is that he thought that the fundamental aspect of it was cringe. I thought the fundamental aspect of it was decent. The jokes were probably dated and a little cringe depending on the community. Maybe a little bit how edgy he was might be dated. But I think the content cop was fundamentally decent. And it kind of came off like he was trying to distance himself from content cop in general rather than distance himself from the immaturity of it. I guess that's what it is.
and an R word. At IDubbbz, so 3 million people subscribe to you and you openly say the N-word and retard? Kill yourself. Mojo then doubled down.
Oh, that's a little sussy.
And said she would be happy if he broke both of his legs and
You should have censored the R slur, Ajay.
lost all of his subscribers.
If IDubbbz broke both of his legs and lost all of his subscribers, I would be genuinely happy.
In the content cop, Ian showed old clips of Tana saying the N-word herself and felt she used it in a mean-spirited way.
But she didn't use the N-word in the same way that I use it. She used it in a very mean-spirited way.
You know you
IDubbbz felt this was hypocritical and also called her out for over-embellishing her storytime videos.
She is a storytime YouTuber.
I mean, you just shouldn't be using that word in general. So probably one of the things he regrets supporting.
Who speaks from the heart, but also embellishes her stories very heavily.
In addition, he didn't think her defense for using the N-word was justifiable.
But it's hard to be filled with regret because I was just ignorant and uninformed. My parents never said anything. No one ever told me. Until like 4 years later when people were like, hey, these are racist. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, it's in every rap song. Like, Mac Miller says that he's white. Like, what's...
Well, they never say it with hard R rap songs. Obviously, her explanations are dog shit. None of it adds up.
Taking things a step further, he visited Tana at her meet and greet in San Francisco and iconically posed for a picture while asking her to say the N-word.
Insane.
Shockingly, she initially didn't know it was him and only figured it out later. Instead of shaming Ian for his
I wonder how much later she figured it out.
immature behavior, she did exactly what he predicted. She could have owned him, but rather became a victim of her own actions. Tana just dramatized the entire situation by saying she was scared for her life, that Ian didn't let her go, and that she wondered if he had a gun or knife.
I kind of try to like break
How would he get in with a gun or knife? You must have bad security, girl.
free, you know what I mean? Like get his arm away from me, and so like the first time I tried to, like, he did.
She probably was like really uncomfortable in this situation, but like she's making it dramatic. Like, let's just say like she didn't know who he was, so she thought he was just a fan. That's probably super uncomfortable, but not like, oh my god, he might have had a gun or a knife. Like she knew that that's not what it was. But like she probably was like uncomfortable. I think anybody would be uncomfortable if somebody that you didn't know, because she doesn't know who it is at this point, right? Probably wouldn't let him in. Walks up to you and grabs you like that. Like I would, if you did it to me, I'd probably immediately shove the fuck out of you.
Didn't like let go, and that's what my brain instincts like. Okay, does he have a gun? Does he have a knife? Like, whatever. This was very quick. It wasn't like he held me for much longer. And then I pull away harder and finally pull away. That's what my brain is like. Do I run? Do I scream? Do I cry? Do I hide? Do I cuss him out? Do I ask him what's wrong? Like, I don't know what to do. You know, and he's just looking at me like with the creepiest, most terrifying smile.
Now, this was the absolute genius of IDubbbz. He banked on the fact she would embellish everything. This made her dig her own grave because it illustrated
Do you think he banked on that, or do you think he like? Because I would have been like, there's no way she's that stupid.
that she was more of a histrionic narcissist rather than the positive Black Lives Matter activist that she claimed to be. This is why I personally believe the Tana video was one of his best works ever.
It's probably a performative activist, like a lot of people are.
Black Lives
But if she's a Black Lives Matter supporter, maybe she got the N-word pass. I refuse to be ignorant as I have been in the past for life. I will take that and make it the reason to fight and educate others. I know who I am, etc., etc. Okay.
Matter activist that she claimed to be. This is why I personally believe the Tana video was one of his best works ever. Now let's jump back to Ian and his girlfriend Anissa Joma's commentary about the Tana content cop on the H3 podcast in April 2022, roughly 5 years later. First, Anissa stated that she couldn't believe they harassed an 18-year-old, and then Ian mentioned he recognized why it was out of line.
I think back to it, I'm like, I can't believe we literally harassed an 18-year-old child at her show. It's kind of.
That's I guess when you put it that way,
It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. It's probably like my most embarrassing. Like it is. It's fucking embarrassing. But I mean, it was things that a lot of people loved. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I can recognize why it was entertaining. I could also recognize why it was completely out of line.
Yeah.
Wait, why is this bad? Why are you guys so upset about this? This is fair. You know, you could think that she deserved it. I know 18's not a child, but when you're 30, you're a fucking child. I just want you to know, because they're like 30 now. Like when you're 18-year-olds are fucking children. I want you to understand that. Like I'm 30 years old, and if you're 18, you're a kid. To me, not like legally, you're an illegal adult. I just want you to know that. But you're immature as fuck, and you're a child. So like, I think that they were probably, I guess they were like, he was probably like mid-20s when he did it. Like yeah, he probably regretted saying the N-word and stuff. Like it was still an epic-based moment. But I could see why they're like, yeah, you know, looking back at it, like I think it was kind of immature. I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I think it's a fair thing to look back on and be like, yeah, you know what?
IDubbbz then outright said he was different before.
It was a different time back then, for sure.
I don't think it's fair to say it was that different.
It was pretty different. It's very socially different. We've made a lot of progress on law. Like in general in the last like 5 years. I always say this. I think we made more progress in the last like 5 years socially than we did like the last 50 years before that. I think it has a lot to do with the internet.
It was just.
I think I was different for sure.
There it was, straight from the horse's mouth. Ian had
Tana said the N-word 16. Yeah.
admitted he changed. After all, it had been around half a day.
Well, how old is I? Well, let me look into how old IDubbbz is. He's 31 now. Yeah. So if this was half
Decade. Who wouldn't? There it was, straight from the horse's mouth. Ian admitted he changed. After all, it had been around half—
Yeah, 5 years. So he was 26 at the time, and I guess she was 18 at the time. So, like, that makes sense as to why they felt a little regret there.
a decade. Who wouldn't? However, Ian agreed with Hila when she implied he looked back at his videos and cringed.
But I think that was gonna happen no matter what.
That's what he always says.
That had to happen.
Yeah, I think
those
he-
videos, like you said, now they were a hit piece, and when you look back at it, you cringe at
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
It's not.
Yeah, what this is more context to this. Like, yeah, that makes sense. In fact, I cringe at the TikToks I made 2 years ago when I was 29, or 30 years ago when I was 29. Like, some of it's cringe. You get a little older, you get a little more experience. You kind of look at the world around you, and you're like, you know what? I'm not happy with the way I used to carry myself. Like, you know, sometimes it just takes a different perspective. This isn't really bad. What's so bad?
Not something that could have been sustainable even if you wanted to.
Look, if you
could probably sustain content, cops, just not in the same way. You know,
didn't change,
You couldn't.
you'd be Keemstar.
It's one thing to say he moved on from his
always got to bring a fucking Keemstar.
older content because he matured or because of YouTube's stricter policies. But to unironically state he cringed that his entire catalog of content cops that were the very reason for his success was a huge slap in the face.
Why? Like, what do you mean? Like, who cares? He cringes at his old content. Like, who doesn't? Everybody cringes at their old content. Bro, you guys sent me my first YouTube video from like a year or two ago or something, and I refuse to watch it. It's cringe. What do you want me to tell you? It's just like you're a little bit of a different person. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. Did he say I hate everybody who still likes that content, or he says like, yeah, looking back, it was a little cringe? Like, I don't understand. Why are we fucking melting down over this?
To put it into perspective, the Tana content cop has about 34 million views, the Rice Gum one has nearly 52 million, and the Keemstar one has around 33 million.
Okay.
Those are wild numbers and are without a doubt the impetus for how he got to where he is now. He basically
Sure.
single-handedly represented commentary YouTube in 2016 and 2017.
Yeah, sure.
More specifically, I genuinely think Ian actually did a stellar job at pointing out the hypocrisies of Tana Mongeau that may have otherwise gone unnoticed.
Yeah,
I mean, come
okay.
on, she called Ian racist when she previously used the N-word herself with the hard R.
Well, if she was like, if that, I mean, listen, she probably is, you know, a little racist. How old was she when she used those words? I mean, it's really shitty, but that's one of the things people hate when I say this. But, bro, it is not uncommon for young white kids to not actually understand how destructive the N-word is. Like, bro, 10, 12 years ago when I was playing Dota 2, I say it all the time. I would say every fucking slur in the book, bro, to my white friends. Okay? Because we thought it was edgy and funny and cool. But you don't understand like how diminishing like these words are, and you want to know why? Because there's nothing you can call me that would be on par with proof. Shut the fuck up! You're so stupid. I fucking hate you so much. There's nothing on par with like that you could call me that would ever make me able to like empathize with that kind of like word. Like there's like in the the English language, or at least in America, there's no word more hurtful and impactful than the N-word to diminish a black person. So we just thought like, ha ha ha, this is silly, this is funny, like it's an edgy. We knew it was edgy, it was wrong, but we didn't understand like the specifics. That's what's going on here, right? Like, you know, and I wouldn't expect like Ian to be like whatever in that. I mean, he shouldn't have been saying it either. There's no context you could say the N-word with a hard R that's like positive, right? And that's probably one of the things he cringes at, you know. And I'm just saying, like back then, well, this was like 7 years ago. Like I could see her saying it, and you know, maybe she was a little racist, but probably incredibly ignorant. So.
He also exposed Tana's dramatic behavior perfectly by getting her to over-embellish her reaction to him.
Can I tell you one thing? I didn't say the N-word until I started playing fucking online video games when I was like a fucking kid. Isn't that weird? Because my friends would say it, and I'd be like, oh, this is funny. Haha. Like, that's the fucking crazy part. Has my mom ever heard me say that? She'd beat the fuck out of me. She would beat the shit. Like, I'm not exaggerating. She would beat me. She would beat the fuck out of me like a phone. Like, yeah. Gaming is a very regressive community, bro.
Visiting her. By documenting the reality himself, he clearly showed the truth. On top of that, his edgy humor satirized his subjects in a very entertaining way. For example, he illustrated just how out of touch Tana was with reality when she didn't even recognize it was him who approached her. The very guy who she was fighting with online and hoped to offed himself. None of that would have happened without him first taking a leap of faith and driving to San Francisco. The old IDubbbz took risks. For example, he harnessed the same edgy energy by pointing out Leafy had no chin. It worked well because Ian bullied the bully about his physical appearance, something Leafy did to countless people. Well,
that sounds like they were specifically referencing the Tana Mongeau video more than anything else. But
gave him a taste of his own medicine, and we all watched as he couldn't tolerate it. Now, any willingness to take a risk for the sake of comedic entertainment has essentially vanished in Ian's channel. Ironically, IDubbbz genuinely became uncomfortable when discussing controversial topics. It's like the script has been flipped, which is insane. Also, I find it odd Anissa talked most of the time and answered for him. I mean,
yeah, that part I will give. I'll give Ajay that part. I will give Ajay that part. I did say that. She does seem to talk for him a lot. And he doesn't really seem to talk for himself at all. That's a fair point. I mean, he's allowed to do that, but it is a little bit bizarre. But again, that's their relationship dynamic. That's their relationship dynamic.
Ian was one of the biggest commentators on YouTube. It was perplexing watching him take the back seat. I was also surprised to learn she helped him with a lot of his content cops, including the Tana one. Now let's segue into the next major—
Hey, hey, listen, it's so funny. It is actually very funny. If she was that influential in those content cops, isn't it interesting that she made it too? She was like maybe not half of that video, but she was part of that video. Like my wife is like 50% of me. She's a huge part of who I am in my content. We sit down and have like incredible conversations. And it's the reason why I think like I approach things with a more empathetic sense, because I try, because like she tries to help me understand. You know what I mean? But then you're saying that she's like shitty and he's simping for her. But it's like if she made him who he was, I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but I'm saying like if they're like 50-50 in some capacity, that's how I see my content with my wife. Why wouldn't he have like an incredible amount of respect for her? I'm just saying. Yeah.
Change regarding Ian. When Anissa revealed she started an OnlyFans in March 2020 and Ian claimed he was supportive, all hell broke loose.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of IDubbbz Complains. This is a very special episode where I get to tackle two topics that I've recently become very passionate about. That is a section of my audience who thinks they know me, and my opinion on sex work. You can sort of see where these two will collide. For those of you who are—
What the fuck? I was muted, bro. What a shame. I didn't say anything. I just said boobies. The only thing that I said was boobies. That's literally it. He's like, two things that about myself. I said boobies, and I said it for a long time, and then you guys said I'm muted, so don't worry.
Who are unaware of the drama I recently brought upon myself, I'll fill you in. My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account, which is a website where you can upload amateur porn.
You know what I should start doing? Shaving my fucking head. Holy shit. Dude, what the fuck is happening here? I'm gonna ban you for telling me I'm muted again. I'll smack the fuck out of you, bro. What is this? Dude, what's going on? What the hell's happening to my head? Wait, sorry, this is a thumbnail from yesterday, or from one of the video I posted on my leftovers channel. Wow. That's incredible. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm just looking at my I'm just looking at my bald ass fucking head. What a shame. What a fucking shame.
Anything from double penetration all the way over to lewd cosplay.
Yeah, but you can't find any poop on there, so I don't really bother. I deleted my account for that reason.
And everything in between. And I think all of it is cool.
Many creators and fans alike called him a simp or a cuck.
Even Scat?
Mostly because they felt he was the king of trolling who constantly took the moral high ground.
Okay, so because they thought he didn't, okay.
In fact, some people went so far as to claim the old IDubbbz would have made a content cop on the current one.
Maybe.
And, well, Ian's response to the drama made things worse.
What'd he say?
I mean, he outright told his fans—
Well, I wish that you would, why don't you've been taking a stance on some of these topics, Ajay, but it's interesting that you won't take a stance on some of them. Like, you think his content cops are so great, but you won't give us, like, an opinion on whether you think it was okay for him to do OnlyFans. It feels like you're afraid to disagree with your audience. Hey, Jay, you're like, yeah, I liked the old content cops, and it was a smack in the face to the community when he said that he no longer supported it and thought it was cringe. But then he got banned, or then, excuse me, he got criticized for supporting sex work, and that's what happened. And you're not really giving us an opinion. Do you think it's bad? Or do you think it's fine, but you're afraid that the audience that's watching this video is going to say, Ajay, this is very suspicious, like a character from Among Us, like what's going on here?
Fans who he knew looked up to him not to do so.
A good amount of people are just doing the reasonable thing and just making jokes and laughing about it. But there's a whole nother group of people who feel personally devastated and betrayed. You lied to us. First of all, I'm not your fucking dad. Like, if you don't want to look up to me anymore, that's fine. I don't want you to look up to me.
However, he didn't stop there.
Whoa.
Ian then attacked a fan for finding his content cops cool.
First up, we got Edward. He probably got told by a lot of people that he looks like IDubbbz, and he really liked that because IDubbbz was cool. Edward, I don't know where you got the idea that I was cool. Do you think it was cool when I was playing with anal beads? It's cool when I play with anal beads. Do you think it was cool when I was running around in an oversized cop outfit? That was cool to you.
This came off as extremely uncharacteristic and defensive. Like, seriously, attacking someone for liking your content, that's just plain weird. Fast forward to the H3 podcast in 2022. Here, Anissa revealed that people turning on them was a big shock. She also mentioned she thought it was weird they thought Ian would be uncomfortable with her OnlyFans.
I think the most disappointing thing to me is how many YouTubers that I respected had this weird view that Ian wasn't comfortable, like just assumed that Ian wasn't comfortable with what was going on. Literally, our whole relationship has been like just mutual respect and understanding. Everything we've ever done, whether it's
You know what I think was weird? She doesn't have enough armpit hair. You know? She looks like she should have more armpit hair. That's it. I said what I said. You can deal with it. If you don't like it, tough cookies.
it's him or me. It's been like heavily talked about, like decisions together.
Honestly, I think it's completely out of left field that Anissa thought that. Ian legitimately made a career out of making fun of people like Tana. He made it clear he didn't approve of body-positive girls or e-girls for that matter and cultivated an audience who reflected that mindset.
And so maybe now he's fighting back against that stupid mindset. I mean, like, like, listen, I don't like toxic aspects of like body positivity, like fat people saying that it's healthy to be fat because you should do your best to lose weight. But fundamentally, body positivity is about like just shut the fuck up and you don't have to comment on my body. It's not the only thing that makes me valuable, especially for a woman. So like, okay.
So when he openly revealed he was okay with Anissa doing OnlyFans, it felt like a betrayal. It was almost like he misled everyone about his.
What the fuck? You think it was a betrayal? Jay, shut the fuck up. You're just digging yourself a hole at this point. Yeah, they thought that, like, let's just listen to this again.
He made it out of left field that Anissa thought that. Ian legitimately made a career out of making fun of people like Tana. He made it clear he didn't approve of body-positive girls or e-girls for that matter and cultivated an audience who reflected that mindset.
Yeah.
So when he openly
incels
revealed he was okay with Anissa doing OnlyFans, it felt like a betrayal.
Oh my god, I'm betrayed. He's letting a girl do fucking porn with her own body. Whoa! Dude, you're sitting there. I fucking hate guys. I hate guys that don't like porn stars. I don't like you guys. Oh my god, a girl did OnlyFans? Oh my god, bro! You do everything. You go on the internet. You look. You jerk off. You jerk your dick off on fucking you jerk your dick off on regular porn. It's the same fucking thing, except they're actually not getting fucked. Some of them are, but you know. And you're just like, I can't believe it. You consume. Why do you think OnlyFans is popular? Because of you. You consume it. Guys consume that shit. There's a demand. There's a market demand for it. And you're part of the market demand, Ajay. You're probably jerking off 3 times a fucking week, looking at porn. You probably have like a whole collection of videos that you go back to over and over again. Now you're gonna sit here and say you felt betrayed. Why? Because he's respecting a person that likes to do porn. Oh, we got to make sure we don't respect him. Shut the fuck up, dude. I respect Bailey J. So that's a real American hero. Okay. So why don't you shut the fuck up? Piece of shit.
It was almost like he misled everyone about his core beliefs. To me, the backlash was pretty understandable whether it was justifiable or not. However,
Bro, what? It was, I mean, sure, it could be understandable, but you should be like, hey, it's not justifiable.
I do understand that he is a human being and his actual personality is different than the character he portrays online.
No, I think that he was that person, and he's just changed. He's gotten older. He's gotten more mature.
Regardless, though, it's evident Ian is a new person. And I mean, he kind of had to change. For one, YouTube's policies became more strict regarding bullying.
Or maybe he just got older, Jay. I mean, like maybe. I mean, that's probably part of it, but he also became an older person, and maybe he just realized that some of that stuff was cringe. That's fine.
In fact, his content cop on Leafy even got removed. And it would be weird not to grow as a person after being on the platform for so long.
True.
But Ian's evolution was more like a backstab. In early 2022, IDubbbz demonstrated that he couldn't take a joke. You see,
I think you guys just need to just cope a little harder. Like, who fucking cares? Why are you guys so obsessed with this grown-ass man? I don't get it. Like, you guys keep, like, this is just a trendy thing to talk about now. So IDubbbz is in it. Let's talk shit about him. What am I you know?
During that time, he tried to make a documentary on Sam Hyde, the ghost of Kiev in Orlando.
But hey, listen, I guess I'm doing it too, brother.
Nightclub shooter. However, Sam just trolled him by hiring a fake cracked out girlfriend, utilizing an entire crew, and by revealing the truth only at the end. This upset Ian, who was visibly bothered.
I would have been more stoked with the prank if he had allowed us to take a candid look at his life afterwards, but he shut us out. I don't know what his day-to-day life is really like. I don't know even surface level details about how he does things.
It sounds like he took the joke really well, but he was upset that after the joke, he didn't actually get to do the thing he went there for. This sounds like he took the joke pretty well, but he was upset about the fact that Sam wouldn't open up to him after pranking him.
Or, you know, if he's even in a relationship.
However, I think he would have come off a lot stronger by laughing it off instead of complaining to the camera about what Sam should have done. Hyde is an...
Well, why can't he complain? Like, Hyde is a big troll. Yeah, that's cool. I get it. But, like, he went there for a documentary and he wasn't able to do it. So he's like, oh, that's kind of annoying. Okay, whatever. Who cares? What's your complaint here, bro? You can't criticize other content creators? That's what you're fucking doing right now. I'm criticizing IDubbbz for this. Okay, well, he's criticizing Sam Hyde for this. Who fucking cares, brother? I feel like you guys are way too obsessed with this shit.
Internet troll and has zero obligation to reveal any part of his personal life. Getting angry only made Ian look like the entitled people he used to make fun of. Overall, I think Ian's...
He didn't even express that much anger. He was just kind of like disappointed. Like, whatever, dude. And like, yeah, I know he banned him from the show, but I mean, what do you want me to tell you? It was a charity event, and it might have made the show look bad from like an advertisement perspective. I don't know what to tell you. Like the advertiser perspective. A lot of people would have loved it. It would have been cool to see Sam Hyde fight, but I'm just saying.
Solution has been pretty hypocritical. It's fine for him,
but even Sam was like, "Yeah, we're ready to troll him," and then they still trolled him, even though they fucking kicked him out. They still trolled him. So it's like they had like the shirt selling and shit. So they were ready. They were there to cause problems. You do know that.
Anissa to go on a different path.
Would have been funny, but
backtracking on their videos, which rightfully criticized large creators, felt like whiplash. It's very likely we will never see another content cop like before again. The raw energy, the baggy police outfit, and the incredibly well-made arguments are all now relegated to mere nostalgia. Interestingly, though, IDubbbz's videos still get millions of views. In May 2022, IDubbbz seemed to return to the public spotlight. His event Creator Clash, a boxing competition featuring Twitch streamers and YouTubers, did extremely well. By the way, Sam Hyde was banned from it. It got many people interested in boxing and raised over $1 million for charity. Creator Clash stood out because it paired unlikely fighters and there was a mystery as to who would win. Although I will say pretty much everyone without brain damage, which ironically was what Ian was left with, knew Dr. Mike was going to win. But it was still a valiant effort to watch him give it his all. I would have never imagined a world where Michael Reeves gave Graham Stephan a concussion. And that was the beauty of the event, it got a lot of people interested in the next one. The former analytical commentator has honestly evolved well past his old internet persona. Ian seems happy, and as an Ian fan and not just an IDubbbz fan, that makes me happy.
Wow.
I know that sounds corny, but I truly wish him the best. Who knows?
Why'd you save positive aspects of this till the end of the video? Like, why not cut it in the middle and defend him if you enjoy? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Who knows what cool idea or event he will come up with next? I guess we will have to just
maybe
keep
Creator Clash 2. Mind-blowing.
To find out.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.